Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program where we're currently looking at missions. I like the science data from Surface of the Moon mission. I like that. That's not too bad. And I mean, we are eventually going to build an orbital station around Kerbin. So I guess we will... Do we have one already? We don't. We have one to rendezvous, or rather to dock around Kerbin. In order to do that, we'll probably need an orbital station, so we'll go ahead and grab that. Now, as far as an orbital station around the moon goes, I don't think we're going to be doing that anytime soon. So I think first things first, we're going to get this secondary landing on the moon done. Let's just double check in here. I don't think we can... Oh, we actually can get one thing. Advanced exploration... That would be handy if we were building a station, which we're not currently. Same with command modules. We don't really need specialized control. Advanced landing wouldn't be too bad for the LT2 landing strut. Let's go ahead and grab that. Okay. So first things first, we are going back to the moon, and on that note, if I recall correctly, the Snedgus Mark V lander was accidentally overwritten. Yes, indeed it was. Okay. So, in that case, there is a heat shield here. Let's go ahead and ditch this. Ditch these separately. Apparently we have two mech jebs on here. That's a little exciting. And we'll pull off the experiment storage unit, photovoltaic panels, and we'll just get rid of the command pod. Now then, we do want the Mark I lander can. I think we don't really have another lander module that seats two yet. So we'll go ahead and grab the Mark I lander can. This will be our primary. And then we're going to place on top of it our science modules, like so. We are going to put a mech jeb on the back of it over here. Just a single mech jeb. We don't need two. That was overkill. And then we're going to grab our photovoltaic panels. And we are going to stick those on... Well, we already have two up here, up top. So let's just do two more on each side over here, like this. That'll be fine. Okay, and now let's recreate our lander structure. So we're going to need a radial decoupler. We'll four-couple that. Quad-couple, if you will. Go ahead and stick that there. And then the question is, just how much fuel do we want for this thing? And I don't know the answer to that question. But this stage is going to be pretty weak. We're going to need to address that. However, first things first, let's go ahead and stick on a coupling. Let's go ahead and stick on a T25. No, that's too big. T18, that's too big as well. T12. Yes. A T12 decoupler right there. Actually, let's go ahead and place this on. Take that off. Heat shield. Decoupler. Heat shield. Decoupler. Okay, now we've got our heat shield on there, and we are going to put on just a Terrier. That should be plenty, theoretically. And then now we need to decide how much fuel we want. Well, let's start with T400s. This is going to be massively overkill, I think. So we'll do that, and then we will put on a pair of decouplers, T12s, right there, and then a quad of nose cones. I don't know why I said a pair of decouplers. It's really not a pair at all. Okay, so nose cones there with decouplers, and then we need a fuel flow. So we need an external fuel duct going from here straight on down to the engines. That'll do. Okay, we may want to have at least some strutting here, connecting these together. There we go. And now the question is, are our landing legs long enough to forego a modular girder segment down below them? Well, let's find out, shall we? So, LT2s here. I would say that's long enough. Okay. We'll give it a go. Those can start retracted. Excellent. So does this thing have enough thrust to weight ratio on Moon? It does. Excellent. Okay. Well, we did actually make this slightly lighter, I think, so it should be good. So next, we need to have ourselves a decoupler. Specifically the TD12. There we go. And then, there we go. Just snap on our Snedgus Mark V booster to lift that up. Excellent. Okay, so in Moon, our thrust to weight ratio of stage 3. Okay, we need to adjust our staging pretty significantly here. So first things first, stage 0 should be our Mark 16 parachute. Stage 1 should be just our radial mount drogue chutes. These, well, no, I want these in a separate stage. Okay, we'll get those there. These boosters are in the same stage, which is a little wacky. We do have a decoupler here, right? Yes, we do. That's down in stage 5 for some reason. Okay, so these go there. Of course, this decoupler here would fire in stage 3 with this engine. And then this decoupler and this engine need to be in their own stage. And then stage 5 here would be getting rid of those nose cones and dropping those at the same time. I think the nose cones should be in stage 4 when we're getting to our maneuvering stage. That'll be okay. And then stage 5 would be just this, getting rid of our side boosters. That's okay. And then stage 6 would be all of these together. Okay. So, taking a quick look at our total delta V here, we have a lot of delta V. That's good. Our stage 4 here actually has decent thrust to weight ratio around the Moon. We should be looking at it around Kerbal. Yeah, it has garbage thrust to weight ratio around Kerbal. That's kind of to be expected. Let's go ahead and drop off the decoupler, and let's upgrade this from a Terrier to something else. I mean, Terriers have great efficiency in vacuum, don't get me wrong. Whereas, like the Reliant and the Swivel, they don't have anywhere near as good vacuum efficiency. I mean, we could slap on a Poodle. It would look weird. It would look really, really weird. Well, actually, one thing we could do is move this adapter to be up here, drop this fuel tank, stick on a slightly larger fuel tank, like a... That's not a Rockamax. We need a Rockamax for this. I mean, we could do a Jumbo 64. That feels like overkill. Maybe like a 32. Like so. And then a Poodle. Let's see how long this will actually burn for. Well, I mean, it'll burn for a good long time. Here in stage 5-ish. Why is this not showing up properly here? I don't know. It's showing up properly for KER, though. So, our thrust to weight ratio still isn't great. But it's a nice long burn. We would need to drop a TD decoupler and instead, or the TD12 decoupler, and instead use like the TD25 decoupler. And if we were going to do this, well, a couple of things. First things first, let's move our monopropellant up to this stage, along with our RCS thruster block. There we go. Okay. And then stage 6 is here. We do not want this to be firing at that time. Where's this decoupler at? Here. Okay, that's why this is looking a little wacky. So we need to do this, we need to move this down here. Now I think our staging is correct. Ish. Our staging is correct-ish. There we go. We can get rid of stage 4. Okay. Now I'm like 95% certain our staging is correct. So, there is another quick tweak we can make to this thing. Let's see. Thrust to weight ratio in stage 4 is 0.78. However, our thrust to weight on the moon is great, so we should be fine there. Now, there is one more tweak that I'd like to make, and it's just a simple cost savings measure. We're going to go ahead and pop off our side boosters, as well as our tail fins, real quick, as well as our primary engine. And we've got, let's see here, we've got 2 of these Jumbo 64 tanks, essentially, because we had 4 of the 32 tanks. So this will be slightly cheaper. We're going to go ahead and slap our tail fins back on. And then we don't want to 4-couple this, although we could. We could 4-couple this. That'd be kind of amusing. Out of curiosity, just what would that do to our Delta V? Not a lot, actually. It wouldn't cost a huge amount more, though. And it would give us a significant amount of thrust to weight ratio, for a bit at least. So let's see here. And then all 4 of those would decouple. I still think this is just overkill. So let's go down to 2 symmetry. There we go. And let's just place this right about here. Make sure our fuel is going in. Double check our staging. Okay, then that fires, that engine. At that point, all of the nose cones pop off. And then our lander engines. And then we pop off our lander engines and fuel tanks, and then our parachutes. Okay. This seems good. So yeah, 4-coupling this doesn't really give us that much more Delta V, or that much more thrust to weight, really. And it's primarily because these are asparagus. Would we be better off removing this fuel duct? The short answer is no. So we're not going to do that. It's not much difference, but it is a little bit different. Okay, so this thing is going to be fairly unwieldy. But we have a crap ton of Delta V. And I think overall, this will be pretty good. So we're not taking this to Minmus immediately. Immediately, we're taking this to the moon. So we should take a look at our crew. I think we brought Jeb to the moon before. So, well, Valentina actually has more XP. She's only orbited around the moon. Yeah, we're going to bring Valentina to grab XP there. She has so much more because she has orbited around Minmus, whereas Jeb has never gone to Minmus. So we're going to need to send Jeb to Minmus, but Valentina to the moon. So let's go ahead and launch this. We're not going to be using our Science Junior until we have a full science option, or we're on the moon. One or the other. Well, we're definitely not going to grab a surface sample Well, actually, we could grab a surface sample. But we're not going to. Okay, MechJeb. Let's do an ascent guidance. This is really messy. Maneuver planner, go away. Why did it actually save all this time? That's a little strange. Like, this is a new play session. The computer has restarted between now and when I last recorded. Oh well. Okay, so we want an orbit altitude of 100 kilometers. Orbital inclination of 0 is good. Let's just see how MechJeb handles this, shall we? We may or may not need RCS on. Okay, we are now awaiting liftoff. Go Gadget MechJeb. There we go. With any luck, MechJeb isn't going to freak out. This is a relatively decent, Are you trying to do your roll, MechJeb? I think it is. Let's go ahead and revert this back to the vehicle assembly. Just because if MechJeb is going to do that roll, then we run into significant danger of these side boosters actually impacting and destroying our main booster. So we just want to move it over to this side. We want to turn on dual symmetry. There we go. Move it over to this side just so that we can have it be a little bit less likely to do that. And I was also noticing it was having trouble with roll authority. So let's go ahead and grab another tail fin and just slap it on out here. That was not ideal. Okay, let's put it here. That's not what I wanted to grab. Grab this tail fin, put it here. Like that. We'll see if that gives us a little bit more control authority during those critical first few seconds. This thing's reaction wheel is not going to do well, hence why we have monopropellant. Okay, let's try this once more, shall we? Engage autopilot, and off we go. Excellent, because MechJeb will do its roll so that it's facing this way, so that the boosters are here and here. Well, a little closer in, here and here. Yeah, it's trying to do it, I think. It's not exactly succeeding, is it? Oh, good old MechJeb. What are you doing, MechJeb? No, seriously, what are you doing, MechJeb? Well, I guess it worked. And I guess MechJeb has decided Valentina is going to spiral through the atmosphere. Well, so far so good. Ish. We're putting a lot more energy into this spin than I would like, MechJeb. Maybe just don't do that. That would be nice. Okay, so those impacted down there are booster stages, to be precise. We have another minute and 21 seconds left in this burn. MechJeb is still spinning. Good for you, MechJeb. Should we turn on RCS? I feel like maybe we should once we reach this portion of the atmosphere. Which will be a little bit yet. Of course, we do have some control authority from our mainsail. Okay, let's go ahead and have RCS on. This is going to burn through our RCS so fast. Okay, let's get our RCS off soon. Right about now. Now we're still spinning, And we are experiencing some pretty heavy overheat. Or not overheat yet, but pretty heavy atmospheric compression due to our speed. Thrust to weight is a little on the high end. Also, we did not have enough delta V in our first stage to get to orbit here. Which is a little surprising. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, we're good. For a second there, I thought those nose cones were gonna come eat us. But they did not. So our maneuver stage is gonna burn out a little bit here. We should probably consider adding a little bit more fuel to our booster stage. Like to our side boosters. That might not be a terrible idea. Also, we should probably turn our CS back on at this point. Now that we're basically in Atmo. Or in vacuum. Basically not in Atmo. Words are exciting things, are they not? Okay, now we are officially in space. Yeah, even with our CS, look how slowly we move. It's a little exciting. We have plenty of monopropellant for now. Once we ditch this stage, we shouldn't need it anymore, although I may consider moving it to be up in our primary stage. Not really primary stage. In our final stage, so that we're not wasting any monopropellant. We might be able to use it on, like, descent or something. Okay, so we will be in orbit momentarily. We still have 3 minutes of burn and 2,000 delta V in this stage, so that's pretty good. Our thrust-to-weight ratio here in Kerbal orbit is not great, but it's getting better. And, I mean, all things considered, considering how much fuel we've got in this lander, it's not bad. Like, I still think we have massive overkill in this lander. This is just my theory, anyway. Okay, MechJeb looks like it actually got us to an orbit. And a pretty decent one. It's a bit surprising. But here we are. Okay, so we need to set our target to be the moon. There we go. We're the correct inclination. So we can get rid of our ascent guidance, and I'm going to go ahead and head on back to focusing on Kerbal. I like burning right at about this descending node. And we're going to burn prograde out this way. I'm not going to do a MechJeb. Okay, that's an encounter, to be sure. And let's go ahead and just tweak this encounter a little bit. Retro a little bit here. Oh. That was way too much retrograde. Come on. Okay. Yeah, looks like this is about the closest we're gonna get. Right about here. That's fine. So we're going to use MechJeb to execute this node. Go ahead and execute it. This is going to burn about half of our delta V in this tank. A little under half. That's fine. We'll be able to use this tank to get ourselves onto a descent trajectory pretty easily then. And probably even burn off a lot of our descending speed. Like, this is so much overkill, it's not even funny. I mean, it's a little funny. So yeah, we need to plant a flag on the moon and transmit or recover scientific data from the surface of the moon. So, very simple. We're probably going to attempt to land in a different biome than we did last time, just so that we can have ideal levels of technology coming out of that. Why are we not warping, MechJeb? There you go. Now it's just about to start the warp for you. Moon will be popping out over here momentarily, theoretically. We'll be burning a little early for it, though. So we will see the moon probably popping out during this burn. If you don't have maneuver nodes and such, that's a good benchmark. Just watch for the moon popping out there and start a prograde burn at that point. Just a little tip for those of you who are starting up a new career mode. I have actually landed on the moon surprisingly early in my career before. Like, before I had maneuver nodes, I have been able to successfully land and return from the moon with, like, basically the starter tech. It's not easy, but you can do it. Sometimes your Kerbals have to get out and push a little bit. But I'm surprised the moon hasn't popped out over here yet. It's definitely right around here. Like I said, we're burning a bit early, though, so it should be fine. We're not targeting a super low orbit of the moon. Well, I mean, we are, but I'm lazy, so I didn't move it around. This burn will be finishing up here in another 10 seconds or so, and that should put us pretty nicely on a path to the moon. So, right about now. Ish. There's the moon. So yeah, we burned a little bit early. Okay, so we are on course to have an encounter with the moon. And with that, I'm going to put a cut in, and next episode, we will do our actual landing. See you all then.